So right now I'm having a look at the Arion SCH-1 Chorus here from the TGP forum member that he sent me to try to fix. And when I got the effect, I couldn't actually replicate any fault with it at first. It worked fine off both 9-volt and a PP2 plus. I sent him a message on TGP asking him what exactly the fault was, because I couldn't get it to show up at all. And literally as soon as I sent him a message, I rotated the tone pot on this thing, and the signal went away. And just like you said, it just faded out and went away, and it went away for quite a while. But I did actually get it to come back by wiggling the tone pot back and forth. It was pretty noisy sounding in my amplifier, a lot of static and stuff, so it definitely needed cleaning. So I took it out of the case, and so far what I've done to it is I've cleaned it with a little deoxit fader. I've checked it on my multimeter after I cleaned it to see if it was still having the proper resistance, and it was fine. I couldn't really get it to do anything else since then, so I think actually it was just the dirty tone pot. It was causing the error, because I can't seem to get it to do any kind of errors now. It seems fine. And just as one last stage here, I've got it hooked up to my function generator, running about a little over 2 kilohertz signal out of it. I'm sitting at 200 millivolts, a little over 200 millivolts in amplitude, which is about what a guitar pickup would put out. And I've got it plugged into 9 volts on the PP2 plus over here, so I've got good clean power. And if you can see the sine wave that we're getting, the sine wave is equal, coming in amplitude, coming straight out of the function generator, and the pedal doesn't change. So the pedal's bypass is operating fine. And if I go ahead and turn this on, you can see the classic output of the chorus. All the knobs are on 0. They're all turned down right now. And I'll bring up the aforementioned tone knob, which is causing all the trouble. And you'll be able to see that it acts as basically an amplitude knob. You can see it's fine. It goes up in a nice taper with no noise or anything. And I'll bring up the depth knob slowly. You can see the effect that has. And that's depth and tone maxed, and I'll bring up the rate knob. It's going to get really crazy now. There's the rate knob coming up. That's everything maxed. If I come back on my depth and my rate a bit to something more usable, actually bring that tone down so I can get it into the screen. I mean, there you pretty much have the classic signal of a chorus. That's pretty much the classic type of signal that it puts out. That's what the waveform looks like anyways. A little nicer looking chorus waveform there. Yeah, so I can't find anything wrong with it besides that the tone pot, I think, just probably had a big piece of trash in it. So like I said, I went ahead and I cleaned it with the deoxit. I cleaned all the pots. I cleaned all the jacks on it with the deoxit. I cleaned the circuit board. I checked all the caps of the ESR meter. I checked some voltages. It's fine. It's working great. I think it was just trash in the tone pot, which all repairs were that easy. And that's the bypass signal again. There's a little bleed out of the depth pot there. But yeah, there's really doesn't seem like anything's really wrong with it now. So I think it's I'm gonna call it fixed, if you can call that fixing something. It's really just cleaning it. And I'll go ahead and finish up by cleaning out the case and everything, and reassembling it and giving it a sound check with the guitar and amplifier. Yeah, just having a little further look at it here. I've got it set up for a pretty normal chorus setting. And when I go into bypass, you can see that wiggle in the waveform. That means it's definitely not true bypass. It's pretty dirty bypass, and that's what will cause noise. You'll hear the thumping noise of the chorus in your amplifier. Especially if you're playing single coil pickups and you got a little hum in there, you'll hear that hum, bouncing along with it. In your amp, you hear that bump, 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 bump noise. That's what that is. So it's pretty dirty bypass on this thing. It's a kind of pedal that you might want to isolate in a loop if that bothers you. If you've got no noise in your pickups or anything, you won't hear that at all. Like I said, it's just sort of, if you have noise, any kind of noise coming out of your guitar, it's going to amplify that later. It seems mostly to be from the depth control. It's causing that. If you back it off, it goes away. But it definitely responds to the speed. So not a very clean bypass on the SCH-1, but oh well. Nature of the beast. Alright, let's play test it. Yeah, just having a bit of a look around. See if I can find any substantial DC offset. There's a little bit there. In that position where you saw the bumping around on the scope. There's a few millivolts, but it's really nothing to worry about. And it does it in both bypass and on mode. Alright, now let's play test it. Alright, well I didn't get very much further towards play testing it. As when I was reassembling it, I noticed that the negative lead has come off the battery snap. I did check it with the battery earlier and it was fine. But I did notice when I first originally hooked it up to the oscilloscope, I put it on a battery, and I did have some amplitude wavering, which I assumed was the battery going dead. So I put it on the PP2 Plus. I would assume now that this battery is not going dead. I mean, it's brand new. I was wondering about that, and it was actually just this lead had a short in it because it was coming off. Though that wouldn't have caused the original problem that Donald Demon had with this when it went out on him, because he was plugged into wall power, so that wouldn't have been a thing. But I'll go ahead. I've got another battery snap here, and I'll go ahead and put that in there, and then we'll play test it. Yeah, let's see. Yep, there's the old battery snap. All right, here is GGP member Donald Demon's Arion SCH-1 after I cleaned it up and reassembled it and everything. Just do a little play test. First, I'll just do bypass signal. It's bypass, and here's the SCH-1. All right. Little reverb on it. Maybe. It sounds pretty good to me. pretty cool chorus. I dig it. But it seems all fixed, and I'll box it up and send it back to Mr. Donald Demon. See you next time. Anything else I can for you?